What about a square inch of sound? What would that be like?
Infinitely worse.
So anyway, this is a square inch of sound, and over the past week, we all listened to Dear Wormwood by the Oh Hellos. My name is Luke, and I play guitar.
My name is Nick. My computer's broken. Shut up.
My name is Nick, and I was interrupted by Kevin.
I'm not repeating.
The other two, you guys exist?
Hello. My name is Connor, and I just interrupted someone else.
Yeah. Hello, my name is... and...
He's dead. He's been chopped.
Oh my god, they fucking snapped his neck.
Oh, and my fun fact is...
Oh, he's back.
Okay, cool.
That's good to know.
Crackle and pop all in one place. Now I've seen everything.
I just wanted to make two sounds. I didn't realize that the cracker would break so fucking perfectly to make that noise.
Dude, who knew you were strong enough to break a cracker?
I didn't even. I was kind of going off a fluke. Oh no, they're back!
All right. I think we're done with the cracker jokes.
Yeah, that is some good Foley right there.
I will say those were some quality sound effects. If I were producing an audio drama, which I very well might be in the future, I would definitely like to use your cracking sound effects.
What kind of cracker was that?
That was a saltine cracker.
As I should have known.
Yeah.
I should have known.
The unmistakable noise of a saltine cracker.
That sounds like
any self-respecting person who has been sick before knows the sound of a saltine cracker.
I like
unadulterated crunch.
No, I like that idea now. Can we just get connoisseurs of shit like wine and things like that to do a Zoom call, and they're like, "Here, figure out what this wine is," and they just shake it, and they're like, "Ah, I know that. In 1980, white, unmistakable."
Hey, that's both of the presidential candidates.
So anyway, you know what my problem was going into this album, right? I'm like,
what's that?
I don't.
Do it?
No, that's not my problem. It's almost the opposite, right? I was going into this I only really form opinions on music after I've listened to it a million times, right? Usually I'll just play music while I'm working or driving, and then I'll kind of just not even half pay attention. I'll 1/8 pay attention to it, and then I'll kind of get little bits and pieces over time. Here I had a few days, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta fucking speedrun my music opinion experience. So the first time I listened to it was doing algorithms homework, right? I think I did that twice actually. Now that I think about it, and then I listened to it again. Just with the lyrics open, just paying attention to the music and nothing else, which is something I've never ever done before, because I'm like, all right, I just gotta know what generally the song is about. I gotta actually look at this. We're gonna actually pay attention this time. And then I was like, shit, I don't know what it's like to drive to this music. And I don't want to go anywhere right now, so I boot up Euro Truck Simulator 2.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because I was playing Euro Truck Sim 2 earlier today.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Kevin is just a psychic who just happens to have all of his predictions coalesce with evidence.
So I booted it up, and I played it for 40 minutes driving around to this album. You know what I have to say after that?
Nope.
It's alright.
Driving on the wrong side of the road.
I liked it. No,
that
okay, Kevin, that's only in the UK. That's not everywhere.
Okay, podcast over. What do we want to do next week?
No, I just want to make it clear that the UK drives on the other side. Everywhere else, they drive on the same side, on the right side.
Yeah.
So how did? Oh, I was just gonna ask, how did we want to do this? Do we want to do our overall opinion, then go song by song, or what?
We had to do song by song.
Oh,
I don't remember.
What, did you not listen to every song?
I took scrupulous notes on every song.
Is that a joke or was that real, Connor?
No, I took notes on every song individually.
Hell yeah.
I sort of took notes, but most of them was just one of them I just wrote One of them I said fun.
So I have one thing to ask about this. Is this the band that Amber listens to?
I don't know.
From Highway Blossoms?
Yeah.
No.
Is it? No, I don't think so.
It's not.
That wasn't a serious question.
Okay. I mean, they're like almost similar, just that wait. Bear Prayer was the name of the song. I forget what the band was. They have less people, but they do actually have a decent amount of people, I think. It's called Leather Tramp. That's what Amber listens to.
Yeah, that checks out for like a hipster, young 20s girl.
Hipster?
Is she the one whose grandfather died? Or father died? Or whatever? Okay.
Grandfather.
I thought her aesthetic was like Motorhead and like fucking those kind of bands. Well, this isn't a cubic inch of sound Highway Blossoms, okay?
But it should be. But it should be.
It will happen. It will happen eventually.
I suggested it fucking ages ago.
I'm waiting for it to come back. Well, I'm waiting to bring it back.
I'm waiting for it to come back when Highway Blossoms
I'm ready, that's when we
becomes
do it.
the new like big hip game that all the kids are playing. Hey dude, you want to get on Highway Blossoms after school today? Yo, yeah, sure.
2 years from now, during the next pandemic, it's going to be popular.
It's going to take the place of Five Nights at Freddy's, dude. There's going to be a Highway Blossoms movie.
Oh my god.
Can't wait.
You can't say that before the FNAF movie has come out.
There's going to be a billion Highway Blossoms game theories.
But did her grandfather actually die? I mean, it happened off screen, so I don't know if I believe it.
Sans is her grandfather.
So anyway,
I can't honestly. What I can't wait for is like where I'm gonna be like, okay, let's go song by song, and like if we have any opinions, we can do that. And then Connor is gonna be like, I'm just gonna be like, oh, what about the first song, Bitter Water? And Connor's like, wait, what was the first song? Bitter Water. I didn't listen to that fucking album at all. That was the wrong album.
Oh, you guys said Dear Wormwood?
I thought you said Weird Wormwood.
So what did you guys think about the prelude, huh?
Oh yeah.
Lots of
Prelude was fire.
Instrumental.
The lyrics just say instrumental.
And my favorite is that they have a highlight for a meaning. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There was, I mean, not to get into the whole album here, but I will. There was lots of oohing in general, is what I noticed. A lot of songs they seem to just go, ooh, and it's like, okay, I get it. Ooh. We've all heard ooh.
I noticed from like In the Blue Hours of Morning up through Pale White Horse, there's a lot of like wide kind of like whoa,
because it's Jesus music. It's literally Jesus music.
I do kind of like, okay, in an interview they did say like explicitly like, hey, yeah, our faith was important to us growing up, so like it is based on biblical knowledge, but like there's also, it's just like a personal thing, so that there are like secular things I think we can kind of glean from it.
It's certainly not like full on Christian, but it's Jesus music, And I always feel a little bit betrayed, but I got the vibe from Bitter Water. I got the vibe. I'm like, it sounds like just a little bit Jesus-y,
Well, here's the problem with that too: is that like Bitter Water is one of the very much just about an abusive relationship songs, but it's still like Jesus-y.
Oh,
I mean, we don't know that Jesus wasn't an abusive boyfriend.
He never had a
say
girlfriend.
In the Bible that he was.
According to you,
I think he's the savior of abusive.
Jesus was a frickin' Chad.
Jesus was the first Chad.
Yo, remember when we went to Disney and there was like that plane that just put it like in the sky, Jesus save us or something?
Jesus saves.
Yeah,
that was great.
A skywriter who said Jesus saves, but he did it really poorly, and by the time he was finished with saves, Jesus was gone.
Oh, it's poetic.
I will say, like, Bitter Water was definitely like, I am in an abusive relationship, please help me, But I also listened to Through the Deep Dark Valley, which was their album from 3 years earlier, and it's kind of supposed to be like Dear Wormwood is like a sequel of sorts to through the Deep Dark Valley, and most of that album is kind of just like, wow, my life fucking sucks. I hate it here. Everything sucks. You know,
if we want to get into their all of their albums, basically most of the meanings behind their albums are, I'm going to latch on to imagery from some religion and then talk about my life through that lens. And that's like all of their albums. Because through their last 4 albums, it's been very, like, they've used a lot of Greek mythology as imagery and shit like that. And yeah, they did a Percy Jackson phase.
He stood there thinking about being a teacher for 3,000 years.
Nick, you can't reference that as if that's a thing people know. Nobody knows that line. They
will. They will. I've referenced it a couple other times, so eventually they'll get the jokes.
Well, Luke will be the source. I mean, Nick will be the source of that quote.
Yeah, but the first 2 are definitely through the lens of, oh, Jesus is Lord. I love you, my God. Like, very much Jesus music.
You should have
Wait,
sung
I thought we said that we
to
couldn't get a
the
live
national
performance this time.
Oh, Jesus is Lord.
Well, then you get to the, like, Borat singing the national anthem.
Yeah, I can't believe they actually featured Borat on their most recent track, and they were actually singing about the Kazakhstani religion and how Jews are dying. It was a really interesting
religion.
It was a really interesting, like, artistic choice, you know?
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah, no, Bitter Water is probably my second favorite, I would say, track on the album. Just because, like, this is the reason this album means so much to me is when I was going through my shitty breakup, I listened to this album and, like, 2 of the songs, this Bitter Water and Exunt, just on repeat constantly. Because they talk about being in an abusive, shitty relationship.
Dude.
So, like, that last line of Bitter Water, where it's like, I'm not dumb. I know that I'm gonna die if I stay in this relationship, but it's hard to get out of this kind of thing. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I don't know. I like a lot of it. I feel like the like just the melody itself just kind of sounds very generic to me. It sounds like something that I would hear in like not even listening to the lyrics, right? Just the tune sounds like something you'd hear in a commercial, specifically like an advertisement for like a camera or something where they're going on a road trip and they're like pulling over on all the stops and taking pictures with the camera, and it's like, buy this camera. That's exactly how I feel.
I was thinking it sounded like a car commercial, and I was like, it sounded the same as like the Lumineers or like Of Monsters and Men. Like
I was just thinking
very similar to that.
Like, I think that's just like an epidemic of like modern indie folk music has been co-opted because it's usually less copyright. You know what I mean?
It's it's like Adventure Dad music. That's what it is.
Also, I want to just make it clear here that I didn't write out a lot for the note. I just wrote camera advertisement, and I knew there was a 50% chance I would not remember at all what I meant by that. And I would just be like, hey guys, what did I mean by camera advertisement? Can anyone help me out here?
Oh yeah, there was that one song that was just talking about the new Nikon camera the whole time. That was so weird.
Okay, so are we good with Bitter Water? Do you have anything else you want to say on it?
I kind of like.
I think Bitter Water sounds gross.
Yeah, two things.
It.
Like a general
filter's kind of old, so my water is kind of bitter.
I really liked how they had like a very seamless transition to There Beneath, especially because later they actually like use a much different transition from White Horse to Rider, where so they kind of are like using the transitions between the songs as like thematic devices.
It would have been really nice to listen to that on a vinyl or something.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Or without advertisements.
The other thing I was kind of interested in is
even
like
without ads, it was kind of cut up.
I did kind of want to like look into like the biblical origins of everything. I don't know if you guys
probably the Bible.
So like in so
shit, Nick, you got me.
What a classic prank by Nick.
You got nicked.
That was my inner Sacha Baron Cohen coming out.
But yeah, so it was like in the Book of Numbers, which is one of the original books in the Talmud.
The Book of Numbers.
What,
there's a fucking math textbook in there? Why have I never read this shit?
No, you didn't know about this? No, there's a book in the Bible that's just like, and there were like 150 million people in Jerusalem, and here are all of their names and how long they lived, and then here's all the sheep that they had.
It's the Book of Genesis. It's the part of the Book of Genesis where they're like, and Noah lived for 940 years, and his son lived for 516 years. But it's that for like a whole book. It's crazy. But at one point, they talk about the ordeal of jealousy, which is like if you commit adultery, they make the woman drink bitter water, and if she is guilty, then God aborts her baby. Oh. And that's what so like I don't know what they were really like. Obviously, it's an abusive relationship, and so I don't really know the theme that they're going for there with either like this abortion is kind of like severing the bond between them, or like
I just thought of it as like temperature, like the water was cold. I didn't hear any of the lyrics.
Kevin, it's bitter, buddy.
The taste.
It could be bitter cold, bro.
I think that the ordeal of bitter like jealousy is very interesting. I think because this isn't where the relationship like exits. That's an exunt is when they actually break up.
Yeah.
I think this is mostly about like they're in the relationship where it's bittersweet. It's not great, but it's like it's hard to leave an abusive relationship. And I think bitter water has more to do with the fact that wormwood is a bittering agent. Is another way that people have interpreted that the name of the song is that wormwood is a root that's used in like potions. Home remedies, magic potions, and it's a bittering agent.
So that's definitely a double entendre there. Because it does seem like a less direct reference than just like where the trial of jealousy.
They definitely probably knew about that though. I will definitely.
Yeah.
I bet they've
got a funny story about this song. I was listening to it on my shit laptop.
Yeah.
And it lagged for like a full second, so it just held on the same note. It sounded like my Wii crashed. That was what it sounded like. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting.
I still taste you on my lips, lovely bitter water.
So while there was a seamless transition to There Beneath in the album, this is a very awkward and clumsy segue into There Beneath for the podcast. What did you guys think about
better.
Connor? You had to make it like this. This is why we don't invite you on here, Connor. This is strike 2.
Wait, what was strike 1?
Yeah,
the Mario Galaxy episode. He was just awful.
Like in general?
Just a horrible person.
I was just awful at the game. I think that was the real
oh my god,
nail in the coffin there.
Alright, let's talk about There Beneath. We're on song 3, and song 1 was a fucking instrumental. So let There Beneath.
I wrote, it's alright.
We also spent like 15 minutes talking about crackers, so.
Yeah, sure. I like There Beneath a lot. I think There Beneath has more of like, the song is kind of like not super my style. It's very slow and methodical. But the lyrics kind of make it better. Because, again, I really like the overarching... I really like the overarching story of the album, and we can talk about like that as a whole, I guess, once we get to the end, because we're going to talk about it, I guess, in each song individually. But this song is more of like just a quiet reflection on the relationship, and kind of sitting there and thinking, where the fuck did I go wrong?
Where did I go wrong?
Yeah, and figuring out what to do next. Which kind of has the same feel of In the Blue Hours of Morning, I think. We could probably talk about them together since one's an instrumental. Because they're basically part of the same song. They lead into each other very well.
Yeah, the other one I'm like, this is basically just... I mean, honestly, a lot of, like, there were some that I was like, I feel like these could have been one song, and just had more stuff in the song. I know a lot of them were short, a lot of them were short songs.
Like I never really think like, oh man, these two songs they could have just been one and it would have been fine. I've literally never thought of that in my entire life before.
Interesting.
Have you thought about it now?
No, like I don't get it. Like why would they be the same song?
Well, because, you know, In the Blue Hours of Morning is a 43-second song. Nobody's going to be, like, buying a single for this or anything. You're really only going to hear this in the album.
You have to find the fan extended edition on YouTube.
Why would you extend it?
Well,
How would you extend it?
I kind of see a lot of benefits to splitting these up, especially because, like, so I know not inspiration. The prelude. I'm looking at my notes weird. The prelude starts at 140 BPM for tempo, and the Bitter Water drops down to 120, and then There Beneath is 80, and so you kind of have this like general.
All right, this is strike three, Connor.
You go like really slow. you get like slower and slower, and I feel like just having those in the middle of songs kind of.
Okay, but in the Blue Hours of Morning, I feel like it could have gone at the end of There Beneath, and it would have just been like a long outro, and like I would have been fine with that, you know. And then I could listen, like I could put There Beneath on my in like a playlist or whatever, and I would have gotten both of them, and it would have been like, oh yeah, There Beneath has the long outro.
Yeah, but I think like
I'm not gonna put just the outro in my.
Well,
playlist.
I think. If we want to explain it like from a purely artistic album-wise standpoint, splitting up the songs is because like There Beneath is her in the I don't remember which gender it is. Look, the main character of the album is one gender, but it's voiced by both a man and a woman, so I don't remember what the fucking gender is half the time. I think it's a she.
I think it
but
is.
she's like looking out, and they use a lot of like royal imagery, like kings and wars and things in this album. So like she's looking out and she's seeing like everything pointing in one direction and kind of starting to move away. And then for splitting off that into the Blue Hours of Morning, I think the reason for that is because it marks the first turning point of the album. Because it then leads into like I think this because the album's in like thirds. It's the first third where they're together, then the second third where she's dealing with the breakup, and the third third where she's like, I'm over it. It's great.
Wait, what about the third where Jesus fights death? I feel like that was pretty important.
We'll talk about that when we get to it. But
wait, I thought that was a joke.
It wasn't.
The album's about Jesus, bro.
Yeah. But in the Blue Hours of Morning, it definitely marks the first turning point where she's starting to move away from her lover and her shitty relationship. So that's like the reason, is because when you have turning points in an album, you want them to be their own songs because they want to lead into the next part of the album while getting away from the last part.
You know,
I definitely viewed it as like
album. It just made me think of Tadpole Treble, even though I never played it.
What? I'm sorry, I don't understand that at all. As someone who did play Tadpole Treble.
They both have music.
I definitely think they deserve to be separate because so like There Beneath is a really big kind of foreshadowing song, where not only does it like, you know, it obviously in lyrics it foreshadows, you know, the coming of the king and coming of a sunrise. But it also like it introduces the Ole Lai kind of refrain, and it also like adds the instrumental leitmotifs from Soldier Poet King that I kind of want to talk about later when we cover that. So that being throughout the whole album, you and I are both nerds about that. I definitely agree. So like it's a big foreshadowing song. It's kind of like establishing where we are so far. And then by the time you get to like Exeunt, it's kind of like a really big change. So I think you need that kind of like passage of time, that deliberate like separator to show like, hey, here, you know, here's the shitty situation. We know things are going to get better.
Okay,
time passes.
If I wasn't looking at at Spotify, I wouldn't know that it was a different song. Part of why I say this is just because I literally didn't think they were different songs. So how does that?
Okay, well, I think it's just like, you know,
what if I was
when you're listening to the album. To me personally, I would think like if I wanted to enjoy each song individually, I probably wouldn't want like a 40-second instrumental prelude on top of the other song. Usually I want to like listen to like each song as kind of its own unit. And so this way you can kind of listen to it as one cohesive album, or you can like sample the parts that you like best, and those are in really small chunks.
I agree with Connor, because if I was like putting There Beneath in one of my playlists, I wouldn't want the fucking 42-second instrumental outro to just be there tacked at the end. It's like the same thing that pisses me off when artists put like secret songs in their albums, where it's like the last song.
Different. That's completely different.
it's the same because like you go to the last song on the album,
like a secret song.
Yeah, you'll go to the last song on an album, then there'll be a minute of silence, and then on that same track, because it's not listed on the end, there'll be like a little bit of like another song or a whole other song on the end of it. AWOL Nation did it. A$AP Rock did it. But
the secret song is like explicitly a whole unit, you know, like a whole song that could have been its own song, but they decided that they would just kind of put it at the end of the album just to like, oh, they'll never know that it was there, you know. It's completely different from like 40 seconds of could have been part of another song, because the other songs are short, you know, like all of the things in here are short. It's not like these are long songs that we're adding outros to.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. You can certainly, like, I mean, I'm not saying that they had to do it this way. I just,
this is kind of a really subjective thing. I don't know if we're really gonna, sway each other. But
no, I just want to point out that OK Go's album, Oh No, had a 34-minute like unlisted, just like. It's just silence with like occasional like just recordings of them doing random stuff.
Yeah, but you don't put that in your playlist.
Yeah, no, you don't. I just wanted to point out that that's really weird.
All right. Yeah.
They technically made a 34-minute song.
Anything else on there beneath before we go on to the second third of the album?
Well, what about In the Blue Hours of the Morning? It's a separate song. We have to talk about it separately.
I thought we just talked about it. I don't know. I think we said everything that I said. Okay. Hey,
I've said that Exunt is probably my favorite song on the album. It's not. It's by a very close shave. It's probably tied with Soldier Poet King, but Exunt's really good. It's another one that's very much about just like the abusive relationship and like just getting the fuck out of there and it kind of accepting things how they are.
Yeah, I really liked this one too. I said that the percussion was good.
Oh yeah, it's the prettiest part of the album. It's just a collective 13 guitars being thrown down the stairs, and it's great.
Hey, you're the one where you throw the guitars down the stairs.
Nice job, Kevin. Good. keep it up.
I can't contribute to any of these other conversations. I gotta stick these in where I can, bro.
No, we love you. We appreciate you.
Why did you not listen to the album?
No, I did. I just can't talk about it.
I thought you were saying no, I didn't.
Kevin signed an NDA. He's not allowed to talk about the album.
It's in his religious vows, you know. He can't talk about Jesus music, so he's just here, but...
If anyone wouldn't be allowed to talk about Jesus music, it would not be Kevin.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm registered. I'm a registered
as a sex
Satanist.
offender?
As a sex offender?
No, why would you, is that immediately what your mind goes to?
Yeah.
What if you wanted to go to heaven and God said you're a registered sex offender?
And I'm like, no.
That's a pretty valid reason not to go to heaven.
Completely different.
Tell that to the priest.
The priest.
You're unregistered.
I think the priests are registered, Connor.
Who is the priest?
So anyways, is that all we gotta say? It was good.
I like the imagery in Exunt because it almost feels like the person isn't ready to leave the relationship because they're still like complimenting their lover and telling them how like beautiful and like great their relationship was, even though they're like at the end of the song, yeah, I know you're gonna fucking stalk me and probably kill me, but you know, whatever. It was kind of cool while it lasted. Anyway, see ya.
I mean, it was fun while it lasted. What can we say?
It is like another like vein of foreshadowing where later on they kind of say like, I will no longer follow you, but I know you will follow me. And it's, so it's kind of like it's this really beautiful like asymmetric independence where they're like, you know, I'm moving on, you know, but I am kind of the center of your world, you know. So it is it's recognizing that there was an unbalanced power structure there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the imbalance of power.
English class bullshit rants. Ugh.
Next song.
All right, Caesar. This is actually my least favorite song on the album.
I wrote Jesus.
What Luke said about Bitter Water applies to this one for me. I think it's the most generic one. It feels a lot like... It definitely feels the most Christian rock of all the songs on the album. But it still has, like, meaning for, like, the overarching story, and I do like it for that. The lyrics are still good, because this band's lyrics are pretty freaking good. It was mostly, like, imagery, though. It's not very, like, obvious what it has to do with the breakup plot, and definitely has a lot more to do with the Christ coming back and fighting death plot. The A plot and the B plot, as they say.
Yeah, I am kind of like, because the archaeology nerd inside of me is very confused about why they chose to call this Caesar.
Well, I do know... Okay, so I interpret this song, and I think the reason they call it Caesar, because it obviously has nothing to do with Roman history, is because Caesar was betrayed by everyone in the... it was the Senate, right? Senate and his best friend Brutus. And this person is anticipating being betrayed by their ex-lover, and is kind of now, immediately after breaking up and leaving, kind of like, fuck. Like, I don't know where to go from here. I kind of think they're gonna come back and try and kill me. Like, kind of afraid for their life, kind of relieved, but also kind of sad about the relationship.
Yeah.
Well,
so
maybe they're afraid that they're gonna get betrayed by Jesus once they find him. Because, you know,
the way I read it as, like, pertaining to the relationship plot is that it's a message to themselves to keep going, you know, like, morning is still coming, go and meet it, just like that kind of depressed person having to convince themselves to keep going. And then, obviously, on the B plot, it's about Jesus getting crowned as the king.
Yeah, I just, like, because you know, Caesar, Tsar, Kaiser, like, it became in the late Roman Empire, and then, like, in the Holy Roman Empire and all the stupid Western Europe stuff, like, it became kind of like a title of kingship. So it makes sense, you know, that they're saying, like, oh, our king is rising again. But, like, Caesar Augustus was literally the one, like, who, you know, proceeded over Pontius Pilate, who killed Jesus. So I like it's a very, like, a back and forth, like, are they talking about Jesus or the man who was partially responsible for his death? You know, like...
Yeah.
Or maybe they're talking about a Caesar salad. Like, they went
That's
to,
true. I didn't think about that one.
Lunch after the break.
Caesar, like the character in Planet of the Apes? Maybe it was that.
Maybe, yeah.
I think there was, yeah.
Yeah, because he was the first smart
Monkey.
You know, gather
really
the soldiers.
I really
gather
like
the
the
soldiers.
Same with Roman history. He was the first smart ape.
Yeah.
I like you saying B plot because it just makes me think that Jesus fighting death is like the Kramer side plot going on here. But like we're really focused on the relationship drama. Like that
was the implication. At least that's how it is in my mind. No, I agree with you, Luke. You know, gather the soldiers, the cabbage to enfold, crown him and give him some blue cheese to hold. I think it is about a Caesar salad. You know, now that I'm looking at it through that lens. Sound every horn as the dressing extends up to the hill where the lettuce ascends.
I mean, sometimes you know you're supposed to write a new song for the album, but you haven't had lunch yet, and all that your mind is going to.
Okay, so moving on from Caesar, my new favorite song on the album. The song This Will End, which is I used to not like, then when I actually read the lyrics I really liked. Because I think this is my favorite song lyrically. Not my favorite instrumentally, but lyrically this is the one for me.
Yeah, when they said every line a comedy, I really resonated with Arthur Fleck.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to fucking say that. This is strike. That's strike 3, Connor. You're out. Get out of here.
All right, see you guys later. It's good to be here.
Sorry, buddy.
Much Family Guy, fucking Joker fan, huh?
Yeah, this one kind of convinced me more so that Caesar is about the crucifixion. And less about, like, you know, more than any coronation. This song kind of sounds like a Lenten kind of prayer, you know, where you're like, oh, you know, all there is suffering, sin is crouching at the door, but if, I actually like make it through this period, I will have, unending happiness.
Yeah. No, yeah, and it's definitely pretty much the same thing for the relationship plot, where it's like, this is very much the part where they're like, you know what, I'm not even afraid of them killing me at this point. I'm just sad now. It like, my life is now empty without them, almost wanting to go back. But then at the end with that tremendous line, which is actually adapted, fun fact, from a line in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series, which we can talk more about the literary inspirations, but a lot of this album is inspired by C.S. Lewis. But the final line with "I will wait for this to end, the back and forth the battery, for you at last to comprehend the kind of love of which I speak" is so fucking good.
Yeah, I did actually. I was gonna mention like, oh, this is a cool line. I like this.
Because it's both referencing like their faith, their like the love of God that I have, that you can't like comprehend at all, and it's also like saying that like I'm realizing now that I loved you, but you never loved me. So I may be sad about this, but you can't even understand why I'm sad because you never loved me, and it's so good, so good.
But see, here's the thing, all right, is that you'll never understand because Jesus loves me and he doesn't love you. So get fucked, idiot.
Yeah. If Jesus was the only Son of God,
is like crazy. Like that's the ultimate crossover. I've never thought was gonna happen.
Jesus is what?
If Jesus was the only Son of God, then in God's eyes we're all girls, and that means we're all lesbians too. So,
well, not everyone.
Yeah.
Did you guys kind of a slight tangent real quick, but someone had put like, I think it was on Facebook or Instagram or something, like a picture of Pope Francis with one of his quotes about like, it was like homosexuals should be allowed to start families and enjoy happiness, and I was like, wow, pretty late take, but nice job, and one person was like, whoever said this is not a real Catholic, and they were like, it's the Pope.
Yeah. I live for the day when we can call the Pope #woke, but he's still catching up.
You think the Pope could the Pope have replied? Could the Pope have replied to that guy and been like, "Actually, you're not the real Catholic, idiot."
If the Pope knew what an internet was, maybe, but
no. Well, no, that's why the Pope played Undertale and gave it a 5-star review on Yelp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna play Undertale for next week. We're gonna have the Pope on the podcast.
The Pope's gonna be on the
podcast. Maybe a small language barrier.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird because we'll have to get an Italian interpreter, but we'll try our best.
Isn't he Argentinian?
Yeah, he speaks Portuguese, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He lives in Vatican City. He probably speaks Italian.
I think he speaks Latin, Italian, and Portuguese.
Okay.
Well, great. We'll just fucking all learn Latin then, Connor.
Yeah, all right.
No problem.
Isn't that what Dan wanted us to learn one time?
Yeah.
He wanted us to review Latin.
Fuck! Now Dan's the smartest guy in the server. Oh, now don't we all feel stupid?
Dan knew that we were going to get the Pope and that we were going to need to communicate with him somehow.
Yeah, when the Pope is on here, Dan is having like a great lengthy conversation as both like a Catholic and apparently speaking Latin. I don't think he's
freaking ecclesiastical Latin. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan. The only reason why Dan wanted us to know is because he secretly is fluent in Latin.
Dan actually is the Pope.
Yeah. I wish we did vote in that episode, because then Dan would have gotten on and just spoken Latin the whole time. We would have been like, why the fuck? We just like learned 3 words we thought were funny. I learned how to say I like pee-pee in Latin. That's it, Dan. Jesus.
Well, that's all Dan's gonna be saying too, so...
And Dan can't respond because he forgot how to speak English.
No!
A small price to pay for salvation.
Optimo primo! What the Dan, just talk to us, buddy. No!
He's like begging for help because he can't communicate anymore.
At this rate, we're never gonna get through all the songs. What are the next fucking songs?
Okay,
quick thoughts.
So, Pale White Horse, I was originally gonna suggest we do these the same one, but like we can't because they're completely 2 different songs. But Pale White Horse, is kind of the first half of Where Is Your Rider. It's a very good song. This one gives me chills. This is another good lyric song. It's also kind of this is almost the climax. This is where the start of the B plot starts the climax.
What is the A plot?
The relationship.
So this is the Jesus Satan duel.
Yeah. So this is where the beginning of the Jesus death. This is the introduction of the main villain of death on the B plot. Yeah, but also for the relationship side, it's this song is about seeing your ex-lover in public and kind of getting those waves of fear and remembering everything and kind of like, oh shit. Like I always imagine like you're out at a mall and through the crowd, like you make eye contact with your old abuser and all those memories come flooding back and your first reaction is just like, you know, the world is ending now. That's what I got out of it. And then as far as the Jesus stuff goes,
that's when the world actually ends.
Yeah, it kind of. I mean, it talks about Adam and Eve's fall, and then the Tower of Babel falling, and then it's sort of just like, well, these are all. I'm going to compare this to all these biblical times, and death is coming for me. I think it's also based on the Book of Revelation, but I'm sure Connor did like 3 hours of research on that.
Yeah, the kind of standard references in the Book of Revelations. There's like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and so this one is just death who rides in on a pale horse. Like that's right from the Book of Revelations. The X-Men actually preceded the Bible, so
now Jesus can write a whole book of Revelations, but I reveal myself one time and I get registered.
That's actually kind of cool. That like I did when you're saying that I did kind of realize that they were talking about, you know, war, nothing, famine, plague, pussy shit, but this guy. Fuck.
Wait, you know what? I've actually thought about this before, right? The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse seem pretty unbalanced if one of them is death. Like, isn't the bad parts of plague and famine and, like, war, aren't the bad parts death? Isn't it bad because people die?
I think
it's more like... Oops, sorry.
Yeah, because I think it's more honestly that, like, war, plague, and famine, you're still alive to be like, fuck, this sucks, and then death is kind of just like, well, you're dead now, and I'm kind of like, well,
janitor.
Better than being alive for the plague, death, and war.
I think the whole point is like it's just very well in This Will End, you know, the song just previous, where like it literally was like, living sucks, living is suffering, but if I make it through life, then God will reward me. Which it's a very problematic mindset, I feel, but like it kind of validates this where it's like, you know, the last, you know, stretches of your life are riddled with war, famine, and plague, and then you die. Like that's kind of, it's the combo, it's the 1-2 punch, you know? Or maybe the 1-2-3-4 punch. It's all
I was gonna say.
But yeah.
It's the 1-2-3 gun, you know?
the other thing I thought was really cool is like, so I might as well kind of discuss it now. And you kind of alluded to it earlier, Kyle. Like this was based heavily off of C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters, which is basically
actually
it's
have
the
it
idea.
next to me.
Oh man,
right
awesome!
Here. Yeah, I have it sitting right here. I read it in preparation.
I've only read excerpts, so you definitely can one up me on this. But basically, like, it's a senior demon writing letters to his nephew on how to like sway a British man called the Patient to the dark side and kind of, you know, like pull him away from Christianity. Mm-hmm. And what happens is eventually the Patient goes off and serves in World War II. And Wormwood, who the nephew of Screwtape, to whom the letters are addressed, is like, oh, hell yeah, I love war. This shit's sick. And Screwtape is like, whoa, buddy, like, you can't let him die or he'll go to heaven. And he's like, no, but I want him to suffer. And then he dies and he goes to heaven. And then all the senior demons get to eat Wormwood. So it's kind of like, I thought it was neat that they do introduce that war backdrop where, like, war was actually the separator between ending life and sending people to heaven. But in here, it's kind of just like, you are stuck being alive. You are stuck kind of just trudging through the tragedy of war. And it works really well, I think, as an allegory for the relationship where, like, the abuser thrives on this kind of conflict and, you know, on this infliction of terror and tragedy. And it's just making it through, getting out of it alive, and then kind of, you know, flying the flag of victory.
Yeah, the titular song is a more direct reference to Dear Wormwood, so I was going to bring it up then, but sorry about that. Well, it's not a big deal. All I was going to say, specifically, I guess it's like, I'll wait on it, but there's a lot of good imagery from that song in a crossover in that book. But this also marks the second turning point of the album into the final third, because the thing I like about this is that they're clearly like part one. Oh gosh, 1 second. Yeah. Oh my god.
Return of the cat.
This is a friggin' great time for this. So this is like, fuck. This is, okay, real quick. This is like the second turning point of the album. And one thing I noted as interesting was that like, these are clearly a part 1 and 2, Pale White Horse, Where Is Your Rider? But the end of the song, it doesn't have a smooth transition like it did with Prelude, Bitter Water, or like In the Blue Hours of Morning and There Beneath. It ends abruptly and then just starts the next song, which I think is like really good, because it shows like a change in thoughts from how they were reacting to seeing their lover in public in Pale White Horse, and then how they reacted after Where's Your Rider, which I'll talk about when I get back from rescuing my fucking cat from outside.
All right, and in the meantime, we can talk about what seems fitting. We can get a little bit of the discussion out of the way, which I guess Kyle will be sad to not have heard. What were my notes on the whole thing? Because I had a couple of notes. I put like a lot of these songs feel like songs that have a lot of build up, but then like it's kind of worth it, you know? I thought that they did that part well. Basically all the transitions. I mean, we were just talking about transitions and kind of mentioned transitions before. All the transitions in the album were like nice, you know? Like that's a good transition. Yeah, you really transitioned there, didn't you?
You mean from like song to song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I really enjoyed the ones where they like flow into each other like one song. I enjoy it more when both of them are like complete songs and not just like an instrumental riff for 40 seconds. But it's nice. It sounds really nice when they flow into one another, in my opinion.
I just listened to it as one big song.
How was that?
I didn't know which song was what, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh.
That's good to hear.
Look up like the lyrics at least, just to get an idea of what each part was, you know?
Yeah.
I've been kind of hanging out on the lyrics page, just like.
Yeah, I've been using that handy YouTube commenter who always comments all the lyrics to the song.
Speaking of comments,
he's on every fucking song.
I don't want to jump ahead before Kyle gets back, but Soldier Poet King is kind of like the most popular song on this album, I think, because it started as like a like YouTube meme and then ended up on like TikTok.
Wait, really?
But yeah, it was like someone just animated like a music video for it, and then people copied that, but in different themes. No, just like a fantasy theme, and then people were like, "Oh, I want to animate that," and so it just kind of like a Dawkins-esque actual like meme. It just kind of like people took it, replicated it in their own way, and put it back up, and so it spread like wildfire. And that's like, how I got introduced to the album. Yeah. Kelsey like found it. We were listening to Bardcore. I don't know if you guys have heard any Bardcore. Very good. Really love it. And it actually like just started at like April of this year. It only like really started as a genre.
All right, the package is secured.
We're talking briefly about Bardcore.
Yeah, no, we had a conversation about this before the podcast started.
Yeah.
I was talking about how they couldn't just say that it started in fucking 1492.
But yeah, like, so I was introduced to the album through Soldier Poet King because it was just like the most Bardcore-esque song on here, and I was looking in the Genius comments, and one person was like, "Whoa, this song is religious? Thought it was Scottish or something." And I thought that really well summed up kind of the impression you have going into this.
No, it's gonna be real. Because the first time listening to the album, like I said, I was doing work. I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics. I wasn't even paying attention to the music half the time. So I got to Soldier Poet King, and I'm like, oh, these lyrics are really interesting. Like, I guess this is going for some sort of weird fantasy thing. And I look it up, and it's Jesus. It's all Jesus, and I'm like, oh, because that's exactly like that's my main experience with Jesus music. It's just thinking it's other types of music, and then being like, oh, it's fucking Jesus again. I don't know.
By the way, since I just got back, did we just go straight past Where Is Your Rider?
No, we were just kind of talking in general.
Yeah, talking about everything.
Totally, yeah,
yeah, because this is the one that I have like the most to say about.
Go for it.
Like, oh no, that's a lot.
Where Is Your Rider is kind of like the song I can relate to the most on this. Just because like this is like the supreme. She's completely over it. Like she sees him in public, and immediately all her thoughts are coming back. Like, oh my god, there's that person that caused me like pain and suffering for all these years. And then, kind of as like a realization, they're like, wait a minute, you ain't shit. You can't do shit to me. Like I'm stronger than you now, type thing.
Because she has
kinda
Jesus.
goes on.
That's what.
We'll talk about the subplot in a second, but I want to get my favorite line in this one is "Bury me as it pleases you, lover, at sea or deep within the catacomb. But these bones never rested while living, so how can they stand to languish and repose?" Because that just seems like a fucking huge spit in the face. Like, yeah, you know what, you can fucking kill me if you want, but like, it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna make you feel better. I literally. I never stood still while living, and you know that, so that's not even going to stop me from being happy about being out of this relationship. And it's her finally giving the big middle finger to this guy that hurt her.
Yeah, because when you die, your skeleton is going to go fight in the skeleton war, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's why Dance Macabre is on here.
Yeah,
but yeah, but then as far as the B plot goes, this is the song where Christ fights death and beats the shit out of him.
So what are the implications of Christ fighting death? What do we gain from
Easter,
that?
baby. This is it. So you know the Easter Bunny?
That's what this song.
I know.
This is him. This is him.
What?
It's Jesus' mech suit to fight death. It's Easter Bunny.
A mech suit?
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Not even like a
you'll see
seed?
FNAF. You'll see the FNAF movie.
Like, there's that one game, like Battle of Gods or whatever. You know the fighting game where they have Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could totally reenact this fight. I'm sure there's a death god or something.
Not if we live in certain countries, because I'm pretty sure that game got Steam banned in some places. It has a 2 out of 10 on Nintendo Life.
Oh,
Wait, this is on the Switch? How did they put this on the Switch? Why?
I kind of want it now.
There's one other thing that I really like in this song that kind of gave me like an oh shit moment. It was like in the previous song, it talks about how like her lover is the horse of death. It's not death itself. He's the horse of death. He carries death. And it talks about like his crooked smile. Just saw Jesus versus Santa. It talks about his.
I really want this game so bad.
And all that, and then in this song, it kind of goes like, because she's talking about how her lover's like lost his power over her, and so in that sense, like he is the horse that carries death, but his rider is gone. He no longer holds death. So like he can look like this fucking creepy ass scary white horse all he wants, but he doesn't have any power over her. And that's just like I really like this song.
Yeah, but I mean a death horse would be pretty cool. Like the skeleton horses from Minecraft.
Yeah, that shit's awesome.
Yeah. So otherwise, Christ comes back and beats the shit out of him. Yeah, no, he also holds back his skeleton army. It does say that in the song. He will hold with all of his might the armies of night. So the vampires and the skeleton army, almost like Castlevania. I think that's some actually Castlevania reference, where Jesus actually comes back and Castlevania's over.
So anyway, Soldier Poet King, how about that one? Apparently a TikTok meme. Nobody ever told me.
I did actually know about that. It was first it was an animation meme. It was a big thing in the animation community where people would make like small parties of adventurers and then put them over.
Yeah.
Because this definitely, you're right. This does sound like a fucking fantasy D&D RPG song, but it's not. It's
Oh, actually, I do remember this one. I wrote down, it sounds like it would be played at the Winking Skeever in Solitude.
Yeah,
exactly.
It kind of does. This is probably the song I've listened to the most on the album because it's very short. It's kind of like a nice snack. You can easily consume it and then move on. It's a good song.
It's cute.
Yeah. I really like the poet verse too. The his weapon is his word and he will slay you with his tongue is really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, like he'll give you such good head.
I do think one of my first few notes for this song is just Jesus will fucking murder you. And it is kind of like creepy because the revelation and the rapture is all kind of like, hey, if you're on the right side, good for you. If you're not, holy shit,
Connor, my fucking headphones cut out, and I thought you said the revelation in the rap church. And I was like, no!
I actually am the Pope of the Rap Church. Check out my SoundCloud.
Okay, but imagine Jesus coming at you with a sword, though. Like not even coming at you with the remains of the cross like he does in Fight of Gods, but he just has a sword and shield like he's fucking Link coming at you.
He's coming at you with like the Master Sword and the Master Shield and going, what I gotta do.
Dude, if I was death, I'd just like turn around and leave.
Is this a rap battle?
No,
and in this corner, it's
a big rap battles of history.
Jesus
Christ.
Whoa! Don't use his name in vain.
No, we're just talking about the guy. We just name dropped him. He's MCJC, you know.
So like kind of in this song, they bring back the leitmotif from earlier, and it's also present in their old album. So it's kind of just like a cry of like foreshadowing happiness, but also sadness. Because like I genuinely can't tell whether those are the cries of the happy people or the cries of the people who are now going to hell forever. Because like later on in Thus Always Tyrants, it's supposed to be like we're kind of destroying or forsaking the demons, and you hear like the cries, ole, olai, and all that, and I'm like, damn, is that all the people like languishing in hell? Because that kind of changes the theme a lot, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we should be too harsh on demons here. Like,
whoa.
To you.
We'll touch on it more when we talk about Thus Always the Tyrants, but that's kind of like the payoff of the Caesar imagery.
Yeah, yep.
Because that's what they said to him when they were killing, was Sic Semper Tyrannis. This is what happens to tyrants. So yeah. All right. So we got on Soldier Poet King. We got anything more about the rap church?
So, Dear Wormwood, this is the first song that comes up if you look up Dear Wormwood on Spotify, if you're trying to find the album, which makes sense because it's called Dear Wormwood.
Fun
fact. Yeah, I never would have predicted that one.
So, this song is really good. This is the one I had the live version in here. This song live is fucking really good. But this is definitely like the climax of the album. This is where like they very clearly moved on. And so this is kind of where like the whole album kind of fits together. Is what the album is supposed to be. Is it's obviously like they said in an interview it's kind of like their Screw Tape Letters fan fiction almost. Like all of the songs are supposed to be letters that this person wrote either to themselves or to their abuser during their relationship. And this is very much the culmination of that, because this is very clearly a letter to their abuser after they're out of the relationship and really just completely moved on. Where they were like, I used to feel bad about you, but now I just kind of don't care, and I'm not in love with you anymore. I'm glad that I moved on. You were trying to control me, and I'm glad that I could just get out of that. And the final lyric on this is really good. Another one where it's just, I want to be more than this devil inside of me.
But like, we don't have to be too harsh on the devil, Like, if there's a devil inside of you, does it have to be a bad thing?
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't be the same person. It's kind of like character depth to have a devil inside of you.
Yeah, like what Yoda learned about the dark side in that one episode.
It's also a pretty easy scapegoat, right? It's a pretty easy scapegoat. Like, sorry, I fucking stole that. It's just this fucking guy inside of me.
Isn't that what
people? The Joker movie, but instead of having the little card that says like, "Oh, I laugh," it's like, "Oh, there's a demon inside of me."
Well, that's what people use astrological signs for. I can't help it.
I'm sorry, I'm just a Libra. Yeah. I do this is beyond Prelude. Besides Prelude, this is the most upbeat, highest tempo song in the whole album. So it's kind of cool where like you start off very high, you dip into a really low, and then Wormwood is 140, and then Thus Always Tyrants is 136. So you finish off really strong and just kind of like fast and upbeat off of everything. So it was really cool seeing the progression.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm also glad that Connor brought up the power asymmetry earlier, because this is also another very good combination of that, or culmination of that, where it's really like I'm kind of the stronger person. Like I think that especially a lot in this song is based off of the last chapter in the Screw Tape Letters, because there's one lyric in that really shows kind of like the power differential really well, which is in the final letter. You're talking about how Wormwood gets eaten by all the upper demons, and Screwtape says, "Rest assured, my love for you and your love for me are as like as two peas. I have always desired you, as pitiful fool you have desired me. The difference being that I am the stronger."
Oof.
Epic.
Yeah, no, that pretty much perfectly encapsulates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But can we talk about the next song? Another instrumental.
Yeah, but this one has more meaning than the other ones. This is definitely like we can talk about it a little bit more than we can talk about Prelude and the Blue Hours of Morning.
It was also stolen from a French. I mean, not stolen, but alluded, appropriated from a French composer from 1874 who decided to make a song about spooky skeletons rising on Halloween to dance a little bit.
It's called Spooky Scary Skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting. The original one, it's called a tone poem because it's like it's not supposed to be just like a song. It's supposed to have meaning, and obviously it's supposed to convey, the spooky dead rising up on Halloween and having a rager, But at the end of that song, it's supposed to represent everything's quieting down, the rooster crows, and then they all settle back into their graves. But on this album, it ends in the middle of the revelry. It just stops. So it's the dead are rising, and they're having a fucking rager, and the rager just never ends. It just keeps going. It's the implication.
Yeah.
The implication.
Infinite skeleton rave.
The implication is just that they're partying, and that's it. So it's like for the A plot. It's clearly like they started from this shitty situation where they were basically no better than just being dead, and then they've emerged from that, and they are now like self-actualized and like complete as a person, moved on in the relationship. And then the B plot, obviously, it's Christ came back, everybody's going to heaven. Woo!
Doot.
Yeah.
And, I felt like that one. I was just like, oh, I like this. This is a cool little one. Cool
yeah.
To put on there.
It's also just like a really good cover of that song, honestly. I have this one in my playlist. I just listened to it. It's really interesting for them throwing in like the banjos and the fiddle and like having their own little folk tune with this classic song. It's good.
Yeah.
And then there is Thus Always to Tyrants.
Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Yeah.
I like how my favorite one is how this one starts out with "Let me die, let me drown."
Let me die, god damn it, just let me die. Ah. That's how I feel all the time.
Yeah, so this one's very much just like a little bow on the album. It's kind of like, I can die, but I'm going to come back, because in the A plot, it's, you can beat me and abuse me, but I'll always come back again, and I'm always going to bounce back because I'm stronger than my demons. And in the B plot, it's Jesus Christ is going to fucking come back, and he's going to throw us all a fucking rage at
Oh, it is a Scottish album. Yeah, I think so. So the line that was most powerful to me from this song was "Spit the bones from your teeth." That was it. Just for no reason, I just really enjoyed it.
When you think about it, teeth are also bones. The bones from your bones?
Yeah. Well, I think it's supposed to be like there is something else eating bones. But for in reality, I really enjoyed, like the coda, the very last verse. Will you greet the daylight looming and learn to love without consuming? And it just very like it actually kind of alludes to the fact that the other person may have genuinely loved them in some sort of twisted way, but they were just so self-centered and
yeah.
Well, when I heard "learn to love without consuming," I interpreted it as their lover vored them, and that's why they're doing the skeleton dance and everything. That's why they got to spit the bones.
Spit the bones out. Yeah.
I really like this one too. It's another emergence of the power asymmetry where it shows that obviously they've been following them throughout the whole album, like their abuser has been, and it says, "I'm not like where you go. I'm not gonna go." Where you follow me, I'm not going to be there, you know? And then at the end, it's kind of like an uncertain ending, at least for the abuser, where it's asking, where I go, will you still follow? Will you leave your shaded hollow? Will you greet the daylight looming and learn to love without consuming? Like, will you become better than your demons like I have, or will you let them consume you and just continue to be the way that you are? Kind of almost a hopeful ending where it's like, I know that even you can change regardless of everything that you've done to me.
And you know how they can change? Jesus.
By not voring.
No, Jesus.
Well, no, for me, this song was kind of
to a cubic inch of sound.
Hey, yeah, I think this song for me really, drove the nail into the coffin of like this. Obviously, very Christian pretense here, where it's like Jesus. I think the main idea for the A plot, right, would be like, there is only one true love, and it is with Jesus, right? And so you can say like, any love that is not with Jesus is just a waste of life. And so death, it's not like actually death. It's just like your life is not worth living if you are not truly in love.
Yeah.
But I think like there's an alternate avenue, with our B plot that we've been talking about, where like true love is not Jesus. True love is just the actual genuine heartfelt love that you haven't found yet because you've been trapped in this abusive relationship. And so the abusive relationship itself is a death because you're wasting time that you could be spending with a genuine lover. I think that is so much more meaningful than just kind of the biblical reference,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like they're not trying to really say that like all love that isn't God is stupid.
And that's how the Oh Hellos came out of the closet as homophobes. There we go. Couldn't think of it for a second there.
What's the one that comes after? It's not
not
the one where you like gay people. It's the opposite.
The opposite. I think it's because I landed in with I came out of the closet and I was like, shit. They didn't come out as gay. Wait a minute. Yeah, no. Okay, if you like this, their like more recent albums are kind of a departure from the Jesus stuff, but they still keep their like harmonic, very like well orchestrated sound.
No, but without Jesus, what would we have? Nothing.
They still have some Jesus, it's their trademark.
You can have a little Jesus as a treat.
Yeah. And they were fucking monsters. They released 4 albums in the span of 3 years. 2 of them both were in 2020. So like,
come back when you make like 8 horror games in 2 years. Like,
Kevin, you can't just compare everything we have on here to FNAF.
I thought you did.
Yeah, I resent that. One of my favorite bands is FNAF now. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that one.
Okay, so anyway, we're already like, I mean, we don't have a time limit, but we have a soft time limit.
Yeah. So this has been a cubic inch of infinite skeleton rave.
No, we're not done. Suggestions, idiot.
It was a meme.
Any final thoughts on
lightning
the
round
album before we get on to suggestions?
I want to give it a rating out of 10. I give this a 9.5 out of 10.
When have we ever rated things out of 10? I mean, you can't.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna say what I recommend.
It seems like the 2 choices were politics or religion.
No, Dan also put a movie suggestion.
No, it was too late.
I mean, really, those are the 2 things that you want to talk about on a first date, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you want a full disclosure. I was born a woman. I also am a conservative Catholic, and I think that we should have a second Holocaust. Thoughts? First date going well so far?
All right, let's move on to finances now.
And then we should give legal advice.
So anyway, what are your opinions on
hypothetically,
sports?
I forgot my wallet at home.
Yeah, then we can both eat Oreos and smile at each other.
Where do you stand on the console wars? You more of a PlayStation or Xbox? Perhaps Nintendo?
That would actually be funny.
Do you believe that gamers are the most oppressed race, or are you one of those idiots that
Guys, I said lightning rounds.
Okay, so anyway, for realsies, final thought. I would say that I would recommend somebody listen to this. I don't know that it's like, I don't know if I'm going to listen to it again. You know, it might go on sort of my like back burner rotation of like, I'm not going to listen to this a ton, but like I'll listen to it. You know, that kind of album.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think I would really recommend it, honestly, because I didn't find the music that interesting for the most part. I would probably recommend a couple songs, like Dance Macabre and what was the
In the Blue Hours of Morning.
That's always the Tyrants. Probably I would recommend,
say,
but not the
like
album
the
as a whole.
43 instrumental is the only one you should listen to.
Yeah.
43 second, not just
43.
That's in the Blue Hours
43
of
notes,
Morning.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yo, what if somebody made an album like that? Like you get 18 notes, and you can use those. And make an hour album. Go.
So
That's more notes than you need, probably.
we have 2 suggestions in the chat already, so we don't want to suggest. We don't want to have too many.
Wait, what did
here.
Connor think?
Oh, I definitely would like.
He didn't say anything. He doesn't get an opinion.
I have a few of these songs kind of like in my, just kind of like playlists that I listen to. I probably like won't listen through the whole album again for a little while just because it's a really nice experience. So I would definitely recommend listening through it once, and then I think a lot of the songs you'll kind of find catchy and enjoy on their own.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a good take.
All right, suggestions, go.
No. We're not just saying. Okay, so I'm saying first of all, who has a suggestion that they feel strongly about? Because we don't want to have 7.
Yeah.
I have one that I would like to say.
Okay.
Say it.
I have one as well.
All right, you guys are good. Connor, you've
Yeah,
never gotten to suggest, so I feel kind of bad.
I don't really have any. I guess I have an idea, but it's kind of a big time investment.
Oh.
Wait,
How big?
Like more than 10 hours?
Yeah, I was gonna just say like The Boys in general, but that is a much longer timescale thing, I think, because now there's 2 seasons of 8 episodes each.
Oh,
so
I mean,
You could just do like the first
we could just do
season.
the first season as a
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Connor's
So
suggesting
I'll
Boys
hold
season.
off, obviously, since my suggestion was agreed upon, so I'll hold off.
Yeah, because you can't do another album this week.
I'm not going to do another album. I was going to suggest a movie, thank you very much, but I'll hold off.
Okay. Oh, and Connor, does everyone know what The Boys is? Do you want to just give like a brief explanation, Connor?
Oh yeah, it's a 2005-2006 comic by Garth Ennis about kind of like what would happen in a realistic universe where superheroes exist but are just capitalistic assholes. And there is a now Amazon Prime original series based off of it.
It's
So
like
we'd be
Watchmen.
watching the show.
Yeah.
We could do both. Honestly, the comics.
No, we
I
couldn't
don't
do
want to
both.
do both.
How could we
Oh,
do
Sorry,
both?
I meant to say either. I meant to say either.
Okay.
It's for anybody that doesn't know anything about it, it's kind of like Watchmen, but a little bit more adult, even more than Watchmen somehow.
The comics are extremely adult, so definitely
Yeah.
kind of go into those with an air of caution if you explore them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
feels
think
like
we're
where
all 18 and above, bro.
I mean, what I would say is that Watchmen is more like they're all anti-heroes for the most part, whereas The Boys, they're all like straight up villains, and the
Yeah.
actual good guys are the ones trying to defeat.
Basically, yeah, like if superheroes were politicians, is the point. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or more, they're kind of like celebrities, athletes, politicians. All the
Yeah,
people
yeah,
in
kind of
power
wrapped around
kind of
Yeah,
combine
just
together.
like general corrupt people. So
Okay, so I'm going to suggest something that isn't that. So do you guys know Wayne Radio TV, the guy with the fake fridge?
I have no idea.
You want to know what's in
well,
this fridge?
It doesn't
It's fake.
it doesn't really matter, but basically.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know this guy. Yeah.
Okay, so he and a bunch of his friends and stuff made a series called Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. I watched the entire thing a few months ago, and personally found it to be fucking hilarious. It does it's like essentially improv skits that are like improving off of Half-Life 1, but with a lot of added insanity, so that it's not really the plot of Half-Life 1, it's kind of just like crazy improv shit, you know?
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's like MST3K, but with, like...
You keep saying some things are like other things, but, like, I've never heard of either of them, so that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, I don't
know. Well,
it's...
Okay, fine. It's just, like, I haven't seen much of it, but it seems very much just...
I remember seeing, like, the first episode, and not to spoil anything.
Don't.
They yelled about a passport a lot, and I'm like, this is annoying, and I stopped.
So I'm going to be voting...
Spoiled it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm going to be voting for that to spite Kevin. Continue.
That's pretty much the description of it. It's an alternate universe Half-Life with honestly some of the best improv I do think it gets a little bit better after like the first act. I think that was when they were kind of figuring it out.
It's like The Office. You gotta watch the first 5 seasons to get into the good stuff.
It's like the whole thing is like a couple hours. Okay, it's a little bit longer. It's like 4 hours or 5 hours. I don't know.
Yeah. You have to watch but it's 100 episodes of One Piece before it's good.
What I was gonna say, it legitimately has some of the best improv I've seen in a really long time. Okay, Nick.
I'm going to suggest the Cornetto trilogy. I mean,
the trilogy.
That's a lot of movies.
It's It's less than The Boys.
Still 9 hours.
No, you're right. I honestly could do an episode right now. I wouldn't even have to rewatch them, but I probably would just to be safe.
That was kind of just like a throwaway suggestion because I didn't really have an idea.
We asked if you were really invested in this because we didn't want to have too many.
It's fine. Okay. And then we all know Cornetto trilogy. It's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End.
The only one I'd really have to rewatch is The End of the World.
The World's End.
The World's End.
I thought you were going to say The World Ends with You, and I'm like, all of us had 3 different ideas of what that was.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in various different things, just doing movies, different things. Yeah, three of them. They were also in that movie, Paul. Is that what it's called? The Alien one.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Edgar Wright. It was just Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah, they were in an episode of Phineas and Ferb also.
Oh yeah, they were, because it was like a Shaun of the Dead reference.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so Dan's
referencing a reference.
I noticed this before. He typed something and then he edited it to be longer, and I'm kind of, because it was all in a spoiler tag, so I don't know what it said originally. He's going to suggest The Rock, a very fun action movie with Nick Cage and Sean Connery. Ooh, that's topical. I looked up The Rock thinking that it wouldn't just give me Dwayne Johnson. That was a stupid decision. Huh. So, this does have Nick Cage and Sean Connery, directed by Michael Bay.
Oh, geez, that kind of turns me off already. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks like it could be the next Con Air, but I don't think anything's the next Con Air, so... It also came out before Con Air.
Con Air was the next The Rock.
Alright, and Tim suggested Terminator, the first one. Ooh. Anybody need
not
a refresher on
Terminator? Not the 6th one with, CGI young, buff governor of California?
Actually, I don't know how much of a summary I could give on Terminator, considering I haven't seen it. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a robot from the future?
Really? Yeah, okay. Robot Schwarzenegger is a robot from the future, come back in time. To kill the woman that would give birth to the leader of the human revolution. So
yeah,
it goes more in depth.
That's
not really a spoiler.
I could write the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, not really a spoiler, but that's kind of like the overarching plot. It's one of the better time travel plots. Not gonna lie.
It was
time 2, travel? Right?
Yeah, it is.
I think the time travel's in Terminator 2.
Isn't it? Isn't always? Isn't
he does. Yeah, he does get sent back in time. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
that's
still
like the entire
travel.
premise.
Judgment Day is just when they use it.
Yeah,
as
wasn't
a plot
that in
point,
like
yeah.
2019? Like that's when it was supposed
Look,
to happen. That's when Skynet was supposed to take over.
full disclosure, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 are worth watching. The rest of them, don't even. Just don't try.
At first, I thought you meant like the rest of our suggestions are garbage. And I'm like...
No. Just the rest of the Terminator movies are bad.
It takes place in 1984, but the future for them is 2029.
Oh, okay. We still got a few years.
Yeah, it's possible. We could reach a singularity by then.
I could have sworn that it was something that
Power Rangers SPD happens like a couple.
I think you're thinking of Back to the Future, which is 2015.
Well, Blade Runner was 2019.
So
that's.
I might have been thinking of Blade Runner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not important. What's important is voting. So say I.
I didn't even get to mine.
What?
I didn't get to see mine.
Oh, I didn't think that you. Okay.
I guess I'll just hold on to it for next week.
No, I mean if you want to say it, you can. I didn't think that you said
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team / Blue Rescue Team, they're the same game, but GBA / DS.
Okay.
If you play as
a dungeon crawling story game, it's like Fire Emblem-esque? It's not Fire Emblem.
It's not.
It's like a dungeon crawler,
it's
right?
Grid, yeah. It's like movement's grid-based, but movement is turn-based, and attacking is turn-based, and there's like a story. And floors and bosses.
I don't really know what to compare it to. It's kind of its own demon. It's a good game though.
Demon?
That's just a saying. Never mind.
One more. God.
Okay, all I'm gonna say about that is I played it when I was a small child, and the ending, if you're playing, is like if your Pokemon.
Are you gonna spoil the ending?
I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just saying if you're playing as a boy Pokemon, the ending gets kind of gay, and I like it.
Is that how you figured it out? Was that your awakening?
No.
Was fucking
which awakening?
It was like my best friend was a Mudkip, and I was like, I fall in love with this guy. What? No.
Why me, God? All right.
Are
Anyway,
you just saying it's your partner? Like your homies?
So
never mind. It's spoiler. I think it's pretty gay at the end, Kevin.
Say I for the things that you're okay with. Boys.
I.
That's 2 right there. Half-Life VR AI.
I.
That's 3.
Damn.
The Cornetto trilogy. I. Was that 2? Kyle, did you say I, or was that just...
No, I didn't say I.
Okay. The Rock. I'll give it an I.
Yeah. I'm interested.
Okay.
That's 2?
Yeah, it's 2.
Okay.
Terminator. I. Was it Kyle? Did you say I, or was that an echo?
No, it was 3. It was just 3 people.
Okay,
Kevin and I. Yeah.
Listen, because I'm looking for the light ups, and so I didn't know if it was Kevin's I through your speakers. And Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
I have headphones on, motherfucker. Don't blame me.
Okay, well, you lit up, so maybe you're just breathing heavily.
It was my cracker. I keep practicing my cracker joke into the mic.
Okay, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Aye.
Alrighty, so it is between Half-Life VR and the Terminator. What's... They're fighting. It's a direct battle. What is our policy on voting for your own thing? I literally don't even remember what we said last time. Did we say yes?
Well, I think considering one of them is someone here and one of them isn't, you should be able to vote for your own thing. Because then that's like just one potential vote you can't have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess.
So Half-Life VR AI?
I.
That's 3, and then Terminator, I assume, is the other 2?
I.
Okay. All right, so we are doing.
Look,
Half-Life...
I would have been down to watch the Terminator, but I said I had to vote for the Half-Life VR actor to spite Kevin, and
Why do you have to spite me? The only time I ever spited someone was Will, and that was deserved.
I mean, Kevin, your extreme hesitance to do any of Kyle's albums was like, it felt a little bit spitey.
It's not because of him personally, it's because I'm not gonna talk about music, and I didn't this time either.
You
had some good zingers.
Honestly, there was an absurd amount of discussion in this episode.
And like 2% of it was me.
That sounds like a
okay.
problem.
You could have changed
that.
No, I'm not gonna change.
You know,
that sounds Spidey. That's why you sound Spidey.
That does sound Spidey. And it also sounds like
it's only Spidey.
It sounds like something
I don't want to change for other people.
It sounds like something that that Wormwood would say. You know, like, oh, I'm not gonna change for Jesus. Yeah, but Jesus loves you, Kevin. So.
Well, then he loves me the way I am.
But he'd love you better if you stopped sinning.
You can't say that. Are you Jesus?
Ask the Pope. I don't know. Anyway, Kevin... we're doing next week. We are going to be reviewing Half-Life VR with self-aware AI. I'll post the links wherever they're applicable. Yeah, it'll be a good time. I bet it'll at least be a decent time. I don't know.
You didn't tell people to email us.
I was waiting to see if there were things that people wanted to say first.
Email us.
You gotta tell people to email us, but also I do have something to say. You know what, Kevin? Your reluctance to change, all I gotta say is, I will wait for this to end, the back, the forth, the battery, for you at last to comprehend the kind of love of which I speak.
You see, I'm gonna assume that was from the music we listened to, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, because you didn't fucking... Alright, never mind. We're done.
So anyway, email us at acubicinchofsound@gmail.com if you have any suggestions. If you want us to do a certain movie or whatever. I don't know. What do people suggest these days? What do kids like? Fortnite?
There's too much watching. We played like 3 games.
I mean, games.
We've listened to like 1 album.
We've never done a YouTube series before. We're doing it today.
But like we've listened to audio in all of these things.
We have done a YouTube series before. We did Interface.
Oh yeah, we did. Crap, I forgot about that. Well, I guess we're not breaking new ground. Pack it up, boys. We're going home.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be breaking new ground until 2023 when we finally do the Latin episode.
I mean,
dude, at some point, I think we should just like cut off all new recommendations, then just go through the backlog.
Was it Tim?
I went out for like a month or something.
Was it Tim who recommended just the book of Exodus or something?
Yeah. Because he said the whole Bible would be too big, so we're just gonna start at the beginning.